A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Double Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Ed Wynn, the Perfect Fool.
Well, I'm the Chief again. Tonight the program's going to be different.
Good evening, Chief. I saw you last Sunday out in the country. Yeah. What were you doing carrying that lantern?
Well, it was dark in the country, Graham. I was calling on a gale, so I carried the lantern.
Well, that's funny. When my uncle was courting his wife in the country, he didn't use a lantern.
Oh, I don't doubt that, Graham, but look what he got.
Well, never mind that, Chief. What I want to know is, did you behave yourself?
Oh, what do you mean, Graham?
Well, I mean, did you keep the commandments?
Oh, don't be silly, Graham. I always keep the commandments.
You do?
Yes, my great trouble is with the amendments. That's my trouble. Oh, I felt fine when I called on my girl. I felt great, but her father took us on an automobile trip, and I had to be good, Graham.
Did you?
Yes, between his car and the bum roads, it knocked the devil right out of me, Graham.
Well, I finally got you to ride in an automobile anyway, didn't I?
Yes, you did, Graham, but the least you can do for me now is to get on a horse.
Well, Chief, isn't it true that horseback riding gives you a headache?
What are you talking about? Riding a horse gives you a headache, Graham?
Yeah.
On the contrary. Graham. Well, and what's more, if more people rode horses, there would be less accidents over the weekend.
Oh, still talking in the past, aren't you, Chief? That was before four-wheel brakes.
Oh, Graham, I'm glad you said four-wheel brakes. Oh, that reminds me of a beautiful song. I'm going to have Don play it. It's about four-wheel brakes, you know.
Yeah?
The title of it is Four-Wheel Brakes, the News to Mother.
Play that, Don. The Depression's about over. I read, according to the statistics, every man, woman, and child in this United States is worth $43.50.
Oh, that's true, Graham. But the trouble is we owe it to each other. You see, that's it. Well, big trouble.
Have you got a remedy, Chief?
Well, in my opinion, Graham, what this country needs most of all is a man who can make the United States fail for 50 cents on the dollar. That's what I say.
Well, according to you, things are only fair.
Well, it's the people's own fault, Graham. You take last Sunday, I was down at the beach, and a big fat woman was sitting on the sand. And when she got up, Graham, you know she left a terrible depression.
I suppose so. But the stock market's getting better, isn't it, Chief?
I don't think so, Graham. I understand the 5 and 10 cent stores are putting in the stock and bond department.
Oh,
that's true.
I give up, Chief. What's the music going to be?
Well, we're talking about the stock market, so I'll have Don play the new investment song. The title of it is, It's a Wise Stock That Knows Its Own Cause.
comes the right royal band from the end of the land, Illinois. Oh, restless is home, Illinois. Your campus is home, Illinois. Your arms are outstretched to greet us, shouting your thousand beat us. Welcome to you, Illinois.
Well, here's the chief again.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me, Graham.
Yeah?
Did you notice I got here early tonight? I came in an airplane.
You in an airplane?
Yeah.
How fast you go, Chief?
Oh, I should say about 350 miles an hour.
Oh, Chief, 350 miles an hour.
Well, I went about 286 miles an hour. Anyway.
Oh, even 286 miles an hour.
Well, I bet I went 115 miles an hour.
Now, 1 minute, Chief. 115.
Oh, well, then let's stop talking about it altogether. You'll have me backing up in a minute. My goodness.
Well, didn't you look at your speedometer at
No,
all?
I didn't, Graham.
Well, Chief, in a car with Texaco Fire Chief gasoline in the tank,
Yeah.
you've got to watch the speedometer. If you don't, the old needle starts creeping up on you. Until the first thing you know, you'll be telling some judge all about Fire Chief gasoline. This fire engine gas certainly gets you places in a hurry. Fill up with Fire Chief. Watch your speedometer and be sure your brakes are in condition.
Oh, my uncle has great brakes on his car, Graham.
Yeah?
They're so good that if he had an accident and hits a man, he can stop right on him. Think of that. Oh, he says he would like to use Fire Chief gas, but he thinks it would cost too much, Graham.
Oh, that's just the big point, Chief. You tell your uncle the surprising thing is that Texaco Fire Chief costs no more than ordinary gasoline. He'll not have to pay a premium for Fire Chief. Quantity production and advanced refining processes have made it possible to sell this emergency fuel in all our 48 states at no extra price.
Oh, well, I'm going to write that to a friend of mine. He's got 8 automobiles, Graham, and he's had them all for 3 years.
A man keeps 8 automobiles. Well, depression didn't hurt him, did it?
Oh, well, it did in a way, Graham. He's an automobile dealer, you see.
Gotham City. I'm all alone in this big city. I tell you, I'm just a lonesome neighborhood.
It's cockeyed. He's so cockeyed. Every time he puts a penny in the slot machine, he's so cockeyed that every time he puts a penny in that machine for chewing gum, he gets a piece of chocolate. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, he's cockeyed.
Well, as the curtain rises, we see the hero dressed up in a loud suit of knickerbockers. He looks like a sport model of the missing link. His father, who is the king, is so rich, Graham, that he bought 6 radios just to keep them shut off. Wait, you haven't heard anything yet. The king takes his son to the royal doctor. He says, Doctor, there is something wrong with the son, the prince. He keeps thinking that he's a poodle dog. The doctor looks the prince over thoroughly and says, there's nothing wrong with your son just because he thinks he's a poodle dog. He's conceited. When you hear this, Graham, when you hear it, listening, you better sit down. You'll laugh and fall over, Graham.
I will.
Well, what the doctor said, what the prince needs is a college training. That's a bright remark, I think. So, the king says, you are right, doctor. I will send him to Moron College. And the doctor says, why, when the prince first came in here, I thought he was a magician. Because when he took his hat off, there was nothing under it. When you hear this opera, Graham, this is too much for the 18-year-old son, the prince, you know. And he says, Papa, I'm going out to play. And the king says, what? Play? With those holes in your pants? And the prince says, no, with my dog. Wait a minute. Now, don't interrupt me, Graham.
All right.
And the doctor says, are you fond of dogs? Are you careful with your dog? And the prince said, I'm very careful. I walk on them as little as possible. Wait a second now, Graham. The king says, can a college course help this son of mine? And the doctor said, well, if they only give that kid of yours a blank sheet of paper to read, it'll improve his mind. Wait a second. No! The king said, well, then I'll send him to college. But, son, before you go, I want to give you one piece of advice. After you graduate, son, always be nice to people who never went to school or college. If you're not nice to them, they may never lend you any money. Say that, Don. The second act of the opera shows the prince he's at college now. Mm-hmm. He's studying to be a moron.
Fine.
Yes. We find him in the English class. The professor says to him, Prince, define the word he. And the prince says the word he is a personal pronoun. The word he is a personal pronoun at all times, except when used for laughing purposes like he. The professor said, that's excellent. Now tell me something about Washington. And the young dope says, Washington? Washington is the first in war, the first in peace, and third in the American League. The professor said, that's excellent, too. Now, one more example in English. Give me a sentence using the word fascinate. And the prince says, that's easy. President Hoover has 9 buttons on his vest, but he can only fasten 8. You see? So, the prince goes to the natural history class, and the natural history teacher said to him, "How was iron discovered, Prince?" And the prince says, "Iron was discovered because somebody smelt it." Really, in a minute, I'll be absolutely hysterical. The teacher said, "That's fine. You can move up a seat. You are now next to the last in your class." And you wouldn't be there except the village idiot is home sick. Just then the athletic coach sees the prince, and he said to the prince, "I can use you. You have a football face. Your features are in a huddle." But he says, "I don't know if you're limber enough. Why do you walk so stiffly?" And the prince said, "I'm breaking in some new underwear." I'll die laughing. When you hear this? So, that night, the prince is so excited about getting on the football team that he can't sleep. It seems that he has a 4-poster bed. And he keeps awake all night trying to make touchdowns. No one ever thought of that before. Well, the next day, passing the backyard of the house, the prince sees a slip of a girl on a watch line. You see, Graham? That's a good place for it. He waits for the girl to come out of the house. She comes out eventually. She is a fleeting vision in white. She's a traveling nightmare. So the prince rushes to her and says, "I do not know your name, but your breath is like wine. There are cloves in your hair. I will call you my Virginia ham." Say that. This is really the best of all the acts. Good. We see the prince and his sweetheart. They are now lovers, and they are walking together through the fields. Mm-hmm. They pass an aged farmer bending over. You know, the farmer's bending way over. Yeah. And they see an old rustic seat in the country. Well, the prince turns to the girl and asks her for a kiss. She refuses. No. Yes, you see, the prince doesn't know that she's just like an ocean liner. It takes a tub to start her, you know. Anyhow, she says, "We'd better go in. It looks like rain." And the prince says, "Little dogs that will and little dogs that won't." And she says, "What are you talking about? Little dogs that'll rain and little dogs that won't rain." And the prince says, "Well, pups that will and pups that won't." So, that night, the prince is absolutely flabbergasted. He calls on his girl, only to find another man has the girl in his arms and hugging her and kissing her. The prince says, "Tell that man to stop kissing you." And the girl says, "Tell him yourself. I don't even know him." That to me is a big thing. He was right. The prince turns to the man and says, "How many times did you kiss her?" What do you think the man said, Graham? What? The man said, "I don't know how many times I kissed her." I lost a finger in the war, and I can only count up to 9. To me, that's brilliant. The prince is so mad, you know, he frauds at the mouth, yeah? The stranger gets angry, and he frauds at the mouth, too. And as they are both frauds at the mouth, they challenge each other to a duel. Well, after the duel, the prince, Graham, takes the girl in his arms and says, I have brought you an onyx ring. And she says, oh, that's lovely. This is so unexpected. At that moment, the girl's father sticks his head. Graham, I love that. That's a beautiful melody.
Yeah.
The name of that is He Was Dead and She Was Happy.
What do you mean by that?
I mean the Merry Widow. I got it all mixed up.
Well, come on, Chief. Let's get down to these letters, shall we?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right, here's one from Helena, Montana. Dear Chief, I'm invited to my first picnic next Sunday, and I would like to be prepared for some of the things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
You think we'll have a buggy ride? Signed, Ecstasy.
Dear Ecstasy, I've been on a lot of picnics. You may not have a buggy ride, but I'll guarantee that you'll have a buggy cake. I know that.
Here's one from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Dear Chief, I am in love with a fellow who works on a horse ranch near here, and I think he loves me, too. He acts very bashful when he's with me, and I think this is due to the fact that he only understands horses. How can I find out if it is serious in his intentions to me? Signed, Flusted.
Dear Flusted, as your sweetheart knows nothing but horses, if he gets serious, you'll know it immediately. The first thing he'll do is open your mouth and look at your teeth.
Here's one from Edgartown, Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts.
Oh.
Dear Chief, at a meeting of our club last Friday, we were discussing which was the most popular name of cities in this country. One says Springfield is used the most. Another says Washington. One says Centerville. What do you say? Signed, Tourist.
Dear Tourist, the most popular name that I have seen is Goslow. There seems to be one in every state in the Union. You'll notice it on all the signs, Goslow. It's spelled G-O-S-L-O-W.
Yeah. Well, Chief, you know, here's one you'll like, Chief. Here's one from Chillicothe, Ohio.
Yeah.
Dear Chief, I am a boy 8 years old, and at Sunday school last week, the teacher spoke about Mount Ararat. Can you tell me where this mountain got its name? Signed, Boy Scout.
Dear Boy Scout, Mount Ararat got its name from a pussycat. Many years ago, there was a cat that stuttered. And as he was walking over the hill, the stuttering cat said, I smell Ararat.
And now, here's one, Chief, from Chicago, Illinois. Oh, go ahead, Chief. Read this yourself.
Well, this one says, Dear Chief, what do you think of this? I put some Fire Chief gasoline on my grapefruit, and it increased the squeak 50%. Well, I'll answer that one later. I don't know what to say.
a hugging on shore. All the Texas from Maine to Texas have never known such love before. Even feeling and fooling, like the birdies of us. Each girl and boy alike, sharing joy alike, feels the national, truly national, of the feeling of country, wherever one over.
Just what does the United States government consider an emergency motor fuel? Exactly this. A grade of motor fuel suitable for uses in ambulance, fire engines, and emergency vehicles. This statement is taken from their pamphlet, KIBM 571, which contains complete specifications for emergency motor fuel. Texaco Fire Chief gasoline surpasses these specifications. An emergency fuel brimming over with fire engine power. Think of it. The same type of gasoline which the United States government specifies for emergency vehicles. You can now have for your own use at the price of ordinary gasoline. You pay no premium. Texaco Fire Chief is sold at all red Texaco pumps and at Texaco pumps only. And remember, July engine heat requires a motor oil that will not thin out or break down. Crack-proof Texaco is that motor oil. It is sold wherever you see the Texaco red star with the green key.
Each week, the Texas Company presents over a coast-to-coast network Ed Wynn, the Perfect Fool, supported by a cast of more than 50 artists, including Don Voorhees, the Fire Chief Double Quartet, and Graham McNamee. Louis A. Whitten, speaking for the Texas Company, extends its invitation for next Tuesday at the same hour. Whenever you hear the siren and bell, think of Texaco Fire Chief gasoline.
The music on tonight's Fire Chief program included I Got Rhythm, Illinois, We're Loyal to You, Lady Be Good, selections from The Merry Widow, and Love is Sweeping the Country. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
WEAF, New York.
The Texaco service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Double Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Ed Wynn, the Perfect Fool.
I'm the chief again. The program's going to be different tonight, I swear to you.
Say, you're a little late tonight, Chief.
Well, I couldn't help it, Graham. I had a dress, didn't I?
Well, how long does it take you to dress, Chief?
Oh, I dressed about 10 minutes, Graham.
Well, it takes me 20 minutes, Chief, but I wash.
Oh, you wash. I send mine out, Graham.
Well, what have you been doing since I saw you last Tuesday?
Oh, I've been on my farm, Graham, raising goats. I'm raising goats now without horns.
Without horns? What?
Oh, well, there are no buts, Graham. I just told you there were no horns either. Say, Graham, one thing I want to ask you. This isn't bothering you tonight?
No, Chief, why?
Oh, I'm sorry, Graham. We need rain for our crops, you know, and the flowers. I've got to go to Washington on account of the flowers tonight.
What are you going to Washington for, Chief?
Oh, I've got to see the Secretary of Agriculture.
Why do you want to see the Secretary of Agriculture?
Well, I'll tell you truthfully, Graham. One of my geraniums is not doing so well.
Chief, you love your farm, don't you?
Oh, I love the farm. Oh, yes, I've got a wonderful cow, Graham.
Yeah?
It stutters. The cow stutters so much. Instead of milk, it gives butter.
Well, that's one thing that interests me about a farm, Chief.
Yeah?
How do you keep cream from souring?
Well, the best way, Graham, to keep cream from souring is to leave it in the cow.
Oh, well, there's no use talking to you, Chief. What's the music?
Well, I'll tell you, Graham, speaking of farm and flowers, I thought I'd have Don play the new flower song about that beautiful flower called a petunia.
Yeah.
You know? The name of the song is Petunia Old Gray Bonnet.
Chief, if you'll get a car...
Oh, now, Graham, I don't win a car. My goodness, how often have I told you that?
Well,
I was knocked down once by a car.
I didn't know that, Chief. Were you badly hurt?
Oh, well, not as bad as my lawyer, Graham.
Oh, was he hit, too?
No, Graham, my lawyer wasn't hit. I was alone when I was hit by the car.
Oh.
You see, I sued the company for $2,000, and I won the case.
Yeah.
But I know my lawyer was paid worse than I was, Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Because I only got $500. My lawyer must have been nearly killed. He got the other $1,500. I was with my uncle in his car yesterday, and we went to a small town, Graham. It must have been a swell town. They even had signs on the road to tell you how to eat when you got into town.
How do you mean, Chief? What do you mean?
Well, I saw a sign that said, Good Things to Eat, 300 feet ahead. Then there was another sign that said, Use the right fork.
Chief.
Yes?
Chief, anything interesting happened?
Oh, yes. He let me drive the car for a few minutes, and I hit a man and I knocked him down. And the policeman gave me a ticket, Graham.
Well, you don't have to worry about that, Chief. You once told me you had a friend who could smooth things over any time you got a ticket.
Well, that's the terrible part of the whole thing, Graham. The fellow I knocked over is the fellow who used to fix the tickets for that Oh, terrible. Don, will you play the new automobile song? The name of it is, The Knock and the Piston Strike 2.
Texas are upon you all the livelong day. The eyes of Texas are upon you, you cannot get away. Do not think you can escape them at night or early in the morn. The eyes of Texas are upon you till Gabriel blows his horn.
Still afraid of sirens, are you? I suppose you're still riding your horse.
Well, no, not yet. Yesterday I rode in my uncle's automobile. I just told you.
Yeah.
It's 12 horsepower, Graham.
What are you talking about, Chief? 12 horsepower.
Well, I ought to know. I lifted up the hood myself, Graham. I caught the automobile immediately after the dog knocked him down. This small auto ran right over him. He was so excited. What do you think he said to me, Graham? He said, that dog didn't hate me, but the tin can that was tied to the dog's tail nearly killed me. I didn't intend this for tonight, but that gasoline got me, you know. I'll tell you. Tonight's opera is Gilbert and Sullivan's opera, Trial by Jury.
Oh, that's a fine
Oh,
opera,
it's the only
Yeah.
divorce opera ever written in the world. The heroine of the opera, Graham, was born and post 180 in all. She was so fat. Listen to this.
Well.
She was so fat that the night she was born, 4 storks dropped dead. Well, as the curtain rises, Graham, her husband enters. He is a young American and very patriotic.
Yeah.
He only drinks government alcohol. Well, he has no front teeth at all. How do you think he lost them, Graham?
I don't know.
He lost them trying to take a drink out of a flask while falling down a flight of stairs. And his hair, this is very unusual, it seems. It seems the husband's hair is long and bushy, and he has a wooden leg. And that's one of the reasons why the husband always fights with his wife. The husband's hair is so bushy, and this wooden leg, you know.
Yeah.
His wife keeps picking him up and using him for a mop. So they sit down to eat in the first scene, and the wife says, "Will you have a stuffed olive?" And the husband says, "What's that?" And the wife says, "A stuffed olive? You don't know what that is?" "Why, a stuffed olive is a pickle with a tail light." That's one, isn't it? So the husband jumps up and says, "Oh, that settles it. I'm going out to eat." And the wife said, "Well, aren't you still my husband, or are you going around with another woman?" And the husband says, "Yes." That's a good one. The wife says, "Aha! I smell a rat." And he says, "Well, don't get personal." Graham, you'll be hysterical in a few seconds. Now, listen. This gets the wife angry, so she said, "The trouble is that you don't appreciate things. You don't know which side of your bread is buttered on." What do you think the husband said?
What do you say, Chief?
He says, "What difference does that make? I eat both sides." No! That starts a real fight. And the husband says, "Look what's happened to our married life. You always eat crackers in bed. What's the result? I go to work early every morning. What happens? I get out of bed with a crack of dawn, and every night I get into bed with a crack of dawn." He says, "And I'm cured. I'm through. I'm going to get a divorce." He says to his wife, "You're too fat and you won't diet." He says, "You won't get thin, so I'll get sick with somebody else." Play that. In the second act of the opera, it happens in the great peace town, Reno. Now, the divorce judge is at lunch. He is an eccentric old man, and as the curtain rises, we find him eating spaghetti with a comb. On the judge's way out, he buys 4 cigars from the waiter, and he says to the waiter, "It's a shame, you know that? I keep sitting on my cigars and breaking them all the time." And the waiter says, "Well, why don't you carry them in your vest?" And the judge said, "That's the trouble. I do keep them in my vest. But my wife used my vest to patch the seat of my pants." No! The divorce trial opens. The first case is the divorce of the couple from the first act, you know.
Yeah.
The judge says to the husband, "Why do you want a divorce?" "I've heard of your wife, and I know of the wonderful reputation for cooking she bears." The husband says, "Well, I never eat she bears." Oh, I love that part of the opera. Go on, please. Well, the judge says, "Well, did you ever try to make your wife happy? Did you ever bring her any presents?" And the husband says, "Yes." I once bought her a lapdog, but she took it as an insult. It seems she was so fat she didn't have any laps. Wait, Graham, you'll fall right flat in a minute.
All right, go ahead.
The judge says that reminds me of the joke. Where does your lap go to when you stand up? When you hear this phrase? The husband says, oh, that's easy. When you get up, your lap. Your lap sneaks around the back and shows up under an assumed name. Yes, sir. The judge turns to the wife and he says, what have you to say about the divorce? And the wife says, well, in the first place, Your Honor, whenever I drive the car, my husband is so thin, I mistake his knees for the gear shift. And she also says, Judge, once a thief stole our car, but my husband wouldn't report it to the police. He didn't report it to the police because I was in the car when it was stolen. And here's the finish. She says, now I want to sue my husband for non-support. She does, and she gets it. Play that, John. In the third act, the couple are separated but very unhappy. He is now in the junk business, and we find him stealing down in the dumps. Well, he goes to the doctor, and he says to the doctor, have I long to live? The doctor says, you're all right. Don't you worry about having a long time to live. But don't start reading any continued stories. That, to me, is brilliant. Well, in the meantime, the wife has been dieting. She is now as slim as a 1932 bankroll. She writes her husband a letter. She says in her letter, conditions have been terrible with me, dear, till I got a job as a dishwasher in a restaurant. And immediately things began to break. Did you get that, Greg?
Yeah, go on.
Well, and she continues. She says, now I have my own little house in the suburbs. It's only a stone's throw from the station. And the real estate man says as soon as they throw enough stones, we'll have the station. And she finished the letter by saying, what's new with you? No! The husband writes back. He says, when we parted, I went west on a sheep ranch. One day I was caught in a stampede of sheep, and that was once I nearly died in the wool. Oh, Graham, wait a minute. Wait, Sam.
Yeah?
Don't hit me yet. Wait.
Go ahead.
He says in the letter, you wouldn't know me. Not long ago, I pulled the cork out of a bottle of hair tonic with my teeth. And 2 days later, I had a mustache. He continues in the letter. He says, my friends tell me I look very doggy. Sort of debonair, Dale. Well, we have been acting, he said in the letter. We've been acting like a couple of monkeys. We really should fix things up. We should be like we used to be. Let's be baboon companions. Well, they meet. And the wife says, what a funny suit you have on, dear. Your skirt is showing. Why, your vest is 4 inches above your trousers. What's the idea? And he says, well, that's my tailor's fault. My tailor says, pants is pants, and vest is vest, and never the twain shall meet. So they decide to remarry. And here's a very strange thing. Yep. They never knew what real happiness was until they got married again. And then it was too late. Bring that.
that is, let's just simply got to the answer. Let's get to it.
All right.
Here's one from Sioux City, Iowa.
Yeah.
Dear Chief, I met a young lady and like her very much. I have already taken her to a dance, to a moving picture show, and drove her right to her door in a taxi cab. You think the next time I see her, I should kiss her? Signed, Puppy Love.
Dear Puppy Love, you've had her to a dance and a movie and for a taxi ride. By no means kiss her. You've done enough for her already.
Well, Chief, here's one from Pueblo, Colorado.
Yes?
Dear Chief, I am a schoolboy, 11 years old. I asked my teacher if hippopotamuses have children, and the teacher says yes. Is this true? Signed, Zuzu.
Dear Zuzu, your teacher is wrong. Hippopotamuses cannot have children. All they can have is little hippopotamuses.
Well, here's one from Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Oh, Chief, go ahead. Read this yourself.
Oh, this one says, Dear Chief, you are so bright, I'd like you to answer this one. Everybody knows that missionaries go to heaven and the cannibals go to the other place. But what I want to know is this. What happens when the missionary is inside the cannibal? I'll answer that later.
Many motorists write to the Texas company commenting on the courtesies extended to them on the road by Texaco truck operators. It's a pleasant surprise to have a Texaco truck operator stop on the road and offer assistance in changing a tire or putting on skid chains. Such courtesy is not unusual with Texaco employees. It is a definite policy of the Texaco company. Its employees must at all times render such assistance and help to motorists as is possible. In the instructions issued to all employees, this rule of courtesy is given first place. That's why no Texaco truck operator is ever a road hog. On signal, the operator pulls over and allows all faster-moving vehicles to pass. For such courtesies on the road, no payment is ever accepted. All that any Texaco employee would ask is that you use Texaco product wherever possible. In the tank of your car, Texaco Fire Chief gasoline, first developed for fire engines, now yours at no extra price. In your crankcase, Texaco crack-proof motor oil, the heat and friction-defying lubricant, the ideal driving mate for Texaco Fire Chief gasoline.
Listen, listen, extra down the bar. Listen, listen, extra down the bar. Listen,
Each week, the Texas company presents over a coast-to-coast network Ed Wynn, The Perfect Fool, supported by a cast of more than 50 artists, including Don Voorhees, the Fire Chief Double Quartet, and Graham McNamee. Louis A. Whitten, speaking for the Texas company, extends its invitation for next Tuesday at the same hour. Whenever you hear the siren and bell, think of Texaco Fire Chief gasoline.
The music on tonight's variety program included Lady of Spain, Eyes of Texas, Avalon, selections from Showboat, and Funiculi Funicular. This is the National Broadcasting Company. WEAF, New York. The Texaco service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Double Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Ed Wynn, the Perfect Fool. I'm going to be the chief, Graham. Yeah? The program at the theater will be different tonight. Wait and see. Say, Steve, I saw you on a new horse. What's his name? Oh, that's the same thing, Graham. His name is the same as you have. Oh, how'd you ever happen to call a horse Graham? Well, it's a very strange story, Graham. The horse was born in Kentucky, you know. Yeah? Well, of course, that makes him Kentucky bred. You can understand that. Yeah. Well, as he is Kentucky bred, and as they see the black and the white, I thought I'd call him Graham. That's a good one. Go ahead. Steve, you certainly love dumb animals, huh? Oh, I should say I do, Graham. They can't come too dumb for me. Oh, my goodness. I'd like to see your collection of animals sometime, Steve. When are you going to invite me out to your house? Oh, Graham, I didn't want to tell you. I lost my house and everything. Oh, no. Yes, I'm living in the park now, you know. You're living in the park, Steve? Yes, Graham, I'm living in the park. But I take my meals out. Well, Steve, speaking of parks, I'm sending my nephew to the zoo. That's so, Graham. I'm sending my nephew to Princeton. well, don't the police bother you in the park? Well, Graham, you'd be surprised. The policemen treat me like European royalty. No. Really, they treat me just like a king. They kicked me out of every place. My goodness. Funny thing happened yesterday, Graham. I lost $15 in the park. Oh, that's too bad, Chief. How did you come to lose $15? Well, I didn't lose it all, Graham. You see, I was sitting in a park, and a $10 bill blew out of my hand and fell on the lawn. Well, that accounts for $10, Chief. Yeah, well, I'll explain the whole thing, Graham. You're so exacting. Go ahead. Goodness. Go ahead. As I was saying, the $10 bill was lost on the lawn. And a policeman fined me $5 for dropping paper on the grass. Oh, your answers are too much for me, Chief. What's the music? Well, I'll tell you about the music tonight, Graham. It's just so damp and chilly in the park, I thought that tonight we'd have that new sneezing song. You know the title of it, Graham? No, what is it? The name of it is I Took One Look at You. Steve, I'm awfully sorry to see you sleeping in the park. Oh, about sleeping in the park, Graham. Last night I slept in my uncle's house. Oh. That's the same thing, Graham. My uncle keeps pigs in the house, too, you know. You mean to say he keeps pigs right in the house? Well, why not, Graham? He has everything in the house a pig could want. My goodness. Well, Steve, I'd like to meet your uncle sometime. What kind of a man is he? Well, he's a very unusual man, Graham. He's very forgetful. Yeah? I'll give you an idea of it. Last night at dinner, he tied his spaghetti and ate his shoestring. Well, just wanted to tell you, you know. How's your uncle's business, Steve? Oh, his business? Yeah. Oh, my uncle must be taking in an awful lot of money, Graham.
I heard today that they just appointed a receiver to help him. That's the help, all right. What business is he in, Chief? Well, my uncle is a traveling salesman at the same thing. I thought you knew that, Graham. No. He's a traveling salesman for Fire Chief Gas. That's so. Oh, he has the Eastern Territory. But it's a very peculiar thing, Graham. Yeah? He's only supposed to sell in the Eastern Territory, you know. But he's got very large feet. Mm-hmm. His feet are so big that the salesmen in the Middle West claim he's stepping in their territory. Do you enjoy living in his home? Yes, I do, but it's awfully noisy in his house, Graham. What? In fact, it's so noisy that every time I write a letter, I unconsciously date it the 4th of July. Go on, Chief. What's the music? So tonight, I'm speaking of the country, so I thought we'd have the new vegetable song. You'll never get the name of it. No. Vegetable song. The title of it is, I Want to Collect You Like I Used to Do. Why are you so late tonight? Oh, well, Graham, this is really strange. I fell asleep on my horse coming down here tonight, Graham. Oh. As a rule, my horse knows all the lights, so I don't worry, you know. But tonight he stopped on one corner for 25 minutes. He did? Yes, didn't I, Graham? He didn't know he was looking in a drugstore window, you know. As a matter of fact, he was waiting for the red light in the window to change to green, you know. That's a terrible thing. I had to leave him right there and climb up the rest of the hill all by myself. Yeah. And still you won't buy a car? No, sir. Why? With Texaco Fire Chief, the gasoline originally developed for fire engines, no hill could possibly give you trouble. And another thing, too. You'll be here on time, Chief. Graham, I don't want to buy an automobile. I would just stop. Oh, I can't understand it, Chief. What do you think of the new tip I say? Oh, I don't know, Graham. I've never been hit by one of those cars. I don't know what to do. Well, Chief, someday you'll buy a car and find out for yourself what a powerful gasoline Texaco Fire Chief really is. That sounds silly to me. No. I'm using some of that Texaco Fire Chief gasoline in my cigarette lighter, Graham. Well, how does it work, Chief? Oh, it works wonderful, Graham. I get about 60 cigarettes to the gallon out of it. Well, Chief... Anyway, but I tell you, Chief, you'll get real mileage with Texaco Fire Chief in the tank. Yeah. More miles to the gallon. It's a fact. Here's something to remember. What's that? Texaco Fire Chief surpasses the United States government specifications for emergency fuel. Now, that's a fact. Oh, Graham, I don't want to keep harping on the subject. But a thought just came to me. Yeah. What is this? This is not the people listening in, just between us. Yeah. What costs the most? technical fire chief gasoline or technical fire chief gasoline? Oh, well, are you going to keep asking me just forever just about one little mistake? You shouldn't make a mistake, Dad. I'm not teaching you answer for that. But I just want to know, really, which costs the most? Or is there any extra cost to it at all, Graham? You don't pay 1 cent extra for technical fire chief. That's all. Because it's produced on such a large scale, it can be sold at the same price as ordinary gasoline. Oh, the gasoline might not be expensive, but the car itself is very expensive. I'll give you an idea. My uncle bought a car, and they told him it could get repairs for it in every city. And he does. We'll never even get over the title. The title of the opera is When You Were 8 and I Was 9 and We Were 17. Well, it's about a boy and a girl. Yes, actually. The boy's name is J. Weatherstrip Riley. He was born during the World War. And they call him Weatherstrip because he kept his father out of the draft. Will you hear this? Listen, Graham. I want you to hear that this is the best of any of the operas. The boy, Weatherstrip, the boy had so many wrinkles on his forehead, he had to throw his hat on his head. Well, it seems that he is a country boy, and on his 21st birthday, for a present, his uncle sends him a dance tub. But being a country boy, he has never seen a tub before. So he writes his uncle a letter. He says, thanks for the boat, but you forgot the oars. So, it seems that when old man Riley, that's the boy's father, when old man Riley died, he left his son Weatherstrip a large farm and also $1,000. In other words, his entire estate was $1,000. Now, the girl comes to the farm to buy some eggs. That's the girl in the opera. Mm-hmm. The girl says, how much are eggs? And the boy says, 60 cents a dozen. And the cut eggs are 20 cents a dozen. What do you think the girl said? The girl says, that's fine. Cut me a dozen of the brown ones. Wait a minute, Graham. They go into the hen house for the eggs. As they enter, they hear a lone rooster talking to a chicken. That's unusual, The rooster is saying to the chicken, says, now listen, chicken, always remember the old saying, a naked day keeps the pussy away. Well, the girl asked, and the boy says, what is your name? And the girl says, my name is Opium. I was named after my father. And the boy says, Opium? Why, that's a dope. And the girl says, so is my father. Wait a minute. Well, the boy says, may I call you up sometime? And the girl says, yes. My phone number is Aqua 820. And the boy says, 820, that sounds like water. And the girl said, well, I'm living on a houseboat. No! Then she tried to get married. She takes her to the boat. But it seems that the boat had a big, terrific leak in it. And they marry on the leaking boat and settle down. Around the door.
Oh, lovely.
The rooms are so small in their cottage that their dog has to wag his tail up and down instead of sideways. This dog is, by the way, happens to be an Einstein pup. No one could explain its relativity. Now, wait a minute. Now, the boy, you see, the boy, what is it? What do you do? Well, the boy never takes his stride out walking anymore. It seems that he has grown so fat that people accuse him of leading a double wife. The wife cooked dinner for him. The husband said, what is that you brought here? And she said, that is canvas backed up. And he said, well, take the canvas back and bring me the top. But the wife brings him a steak instead. And the steak is so tough that he said to his wife, turn on the radio. Maybe someday in this plain common, I feel like a bullfighter. No! She starts crying, and the husband rushes over to make up. And the husband kisses her, using the loose lip system. She says, what's the matter, dear? You don't seem to get the same thrill kissing me that you used to. And he says, well, conditions are bad everywhere. Wait a minute, dear, wait a minute. Well, and he said to her, he said, what's more? This I want you to listen to. Yeah. He said, what's more? I don't like the taste of your lips tonight. And the wife said, well, that's very strange. I'm using the new fruit-flavored lipstick. Monday night I used apple-flavored lipstick and you liked it. And last night I used the plum lipstick and you said you liked it. And the husband said, I know I did. But tonight I think you gave me the raspberry. Yes, only sex is kindly a golden song. It's a piece of an omelet. All during these years, you know, he has changed. His hair is now white on the temples. That's from blowing smoke off his solid roofing. Anyhow, his wife opens the door, and she peeks in. She says, may I come in? And husband says, take a lay. There's always room for one boy. Well, the wife was singing. She says, I sing just to kill time. And he says, well, I hate you, and you've got a great weapon. Well, this gets her so excited that her blood pressure rises. It rises so high that there's snow on the pitch. Well, so she said to her husband, how you have changed. You told me when we were married you were going in business with me. Oh, just for yourself, that's what you said. And she also said, she said, you have gone in business for yourself. You became a bum. Well, this makes Riley angry. And he said to his wife, he says, stop waving your teeth around and say something. Wait. The wife says, I'll say something. I'll say something. Look how stingy you are. You bought me the smallest radio that money could buy. Why, our radio is so small, I can only get Amos. I can't even get Andy. Wait. And she says, you're so stingy, look at my clothes. You bought me a fur coat. You told me it was meat, but I know it's cat fur. And he said, how do you know it's cat fur? And she said, I'll tell you how I know it's cat fur. The first day I wore a coat of dog chased me up a tree. Wait a minute. So, their fight becomes so noisy that a policeman runs into the house. Just as the wife picks up a knife. Yes, and he grabs the wife's arm. The policeman takes her husband and he says, who are you? The man says, I am Riley. And as the policeman leads the woman away from the house, he says to her, who are you? And she says, I am Riley's wife. His wife. His wife. Why do you have that, Chief? Well, I wondered where they get the red gasoline for those little red lights on the back of the automobile. What was that? No, Chief, all gasolines are not alike. I say. No gasoline can make a two-lunger sound like an eight. No gasoline can compensate for poor mechanism. But in the average car, Texaco Fire Chief will give you quicker getaway and more power. That's because Texaco Fire Chief surpasses the United States government specifications for emergency fuel. That's the fact that can't get around. Oh, speaking of getting around things, Graham, my uncle hit a man with his car yesterday. Why didn't he go around and see? Well, that's what I mean, Graham. Wait a minute, will you? Yeah. The man was so fat, my uncle didn't drive around and he was afraid he'd run out of gas. You know, that's another thing, Chief, about Fire Chief gasoline. What's that? It gives you more miles to the gallon. Tell your uncle to drive up to any Texaco service station and fill up with Fire Chief gasoline. Okay. Then check his mileage against any other gasoline he's ever used. I'll do that. And by the way, your uncle should ask about Texaco crack-proof motor oil. He'll hear plenty about this golden oil, the ideal running mate to Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. I'll tell him, Graham.
The Texaco service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Ed Wynn, the Perfect Fool.
Hey, I'm the chief again. The program will be different. You watch it tonight.
Say, Chief, I've got an interesting subject for you tonight. Reincarnation. Where do you suppose you were 1,000,000 years ago?
Oh, that's a silly question, Graham.
No.
I don't even remember where I was last night.
No, Chief, I don't mean that. I mean, where did you come from?
Oh, I came from a very small town, Graham. It was practically a cemetery with lights. It was so cool, you know.
Chief, did you go to school there?
Oh, I went to college, Graham.
College, eh? What were your college colors?
Oh, the way you doubt me, I guess, don't you, Graham?
No, but what were your college colors?
Orange and gin.
What became of your uncle?
Oh, he's in the real estate business now, Graham.
Is he renting anything, Chief?
Oh, yes. Every time he looks at his books, you know,
Yeah.
his screams rent the air.
Jesus, how's his health?
Oh, he's not so well today, Graham.
No?
He went to a nightclub last night, you know.
No, drank too much, eh?
No, he didn't, Graham. You know my uncle. You've seen him. He's got piano legs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Helen Morgan was in the club, and she sat down on him.
Well, Chief, what'd you do over the weekend?
Oh, I took a vacation. I went down to the Atlantic Ocean, Graham.
Good.
I had a room facing the ocean, the Pacific. I went on a 2-day fishing trip, you know.
Catch any fish, Chief?
Oh, well, the first day I was training the fish to eat off the hooks, you know, yeah.
Any luck the second day?
Well, I caught a flounder, but I threw it right back, Graham.
Why'd you throw a flounder back?
Well, I didn't want a fish that had been stepped on, don't you see that?
Stand up there. The oyster season started down there last month, didn't it, Chief?
No, Graham, it started 2 months ago.
You're wrong, Chief. The oyster season begins in the first month that has an R in it.
That's right.
That's September.
No, what about August?
Oh, my goodness, it's August.
Well, you talk.
You can waste time catching your fish, Chief.
Yeah.
I'll buy mine on the market.
Well, I'm glad you said a market, Graham.
Yeah.
Really, I've got a brand new song I want Don to play about the butcher.
What is
The market made me think of the butcher song. The name of it is Put Your Arms Around Me. Play that.
farm lately?
No, Graham, this is Indian summer, you know. I'm afraid of Indians.
How's the fire business?
Oh, well, I went to a fire yesterday, Graham.
A big fire, Chief?
No, Graham, the man hardly made expenses. I don't know.
Chief, where was the fire?
Oh, it was in a speakeasy, Graham.
Did you get there fast, Chief?
I told you it was in a speakeasy, didn't I?
Yeah.
I got there before the hook and ladder.
Was there much excitement, Chief?
Well, I saved the man's daughter, Graham.
Yeah?
And I was talking to her when the man, that's the father of the girl, you know, he called me Nero.
Why'd you call you Nero?
I don't know. He claimed he was burning up and I was fiddling around. I don't know. Besides that, he was awful mad at me, Graham, for interfering with his fire. He kicked me right in the stomach.
Well, why didn't you kick him back?
Oh, I wouldn't kick him back, Graham.
Why not?
Well, then it would have been his turn again.
Where were you when the alarm came in, Chief?
What's that?
Where were you when the alarm came in?
Oh, I was at the fireman's ball, Graham.
Oh.
I was dancing when the alarm came in, you know. And I was dancing with a very tall, thin girl.
Yeah?
When I heard the alarm, I slid right down the girl to the floor.
You're too much for me, Chief. What's the music going to be?
Well, we broke so much glass at the fire, Graham.
Yeah?
I think we'll have the new... It's sort of a love song about glass. The title is, You Were a Pain in My Window of Dreams.
Chief, I want to talk to you about one of America's greatest resources.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. They nearly ruined me, race horses.
Oh, no, Chief. I said resources.
Oh, I thought you said race horses.
No, I'm referring to oil.
Isn't that terrible?
Chief, there's the radio symbol of Texaco Fire Chief Gasoline.
I know.
But tonight it means something else, too. It means say yes when your serviceman asks to drain off summer-worn oil. For now is the time to get rid of the thinned-out summer oil in your crankcases and refill with the correct grade of crack-proof Texaco.
I see.
The golden motor oil that flows at zero. Yeah. Don't forget to say yes.
Yes, Graham. You'll breed a nation of yes men, Graham.
You know what I mean by a yes man?
Oh, of course I know what you mean by a yes man. There was a famous book written about it.
What?
The name of it is A Man Without a Contrary.
I remember very well. That's all. What I'm getting at is that now's the time to change to the correct grade of motor oil for fall and winter driving.
Yes.
Whether you use Texaco or any other good oil, drain and refill tomorrow.
Yes.
Remember to say yes.
Yes.
It's the thrifty answer to, may I drain summer-worn oil?
Yes.
That's all I have to say, Chief. Well, I'll stick to my horse just the same. All right. Oh, Chief, didn't I put enough fire in that speech? Oh, yes, you put enough fire in the speech, Graham, but I love horses. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you didn't put enough of the speech in the fire. That's the way I feel. Well, tonight's opera, Graham, is Tolstoy's Redemption. Good. As I have seen it in Russian myself, you know. Yeah. The hero of this opera is the Russian Baron. He's Baron of ideas. See? His nose is like an interesting book. It's read to the very end. Now, wait, Graham. Wait. I'm only starting. You realize that. Go on. As the curtain rises, Graham, the Baron is taking a bath, and the phone rings. And the voice says, "Send me a bottle of gin." The Baron says, "I'm sorry, but you've got the wrong bathtub." To me, that's lovely. Anyhow, things are very tough with the Baron. He was a $1-a-year man during the war, and he's trying to get his old job back. You see? So he finds looking for work. He gets a job as a grass straightener. Grass straightener? A grass straightener. In the park, you know. His job is to straighten the grass after a couple have been sitting on it. So he meets his sweetheart. She once won a beauty contest. She was Miss Frankenstein of 1928. Oh, lovely girl. She's a very, very strong girl. She is so strong that she knits iron fences with crowbars. To me, that description is ideal. She's strong. Yes. She's also a laundress, you see, and it's New Year's Eve. And the hero finds her ringing out the old and ringing in the new. Well, he takes her in the house. They sit in a dark room, Graham. Yeah. They are trying to develop the film on their teeth. Wait a minute. Please tell her after the story. I can't wait. I'm not laughing. I've got a cold, you know. I know. I drank out of a damn glass. Well, anyhow, listen. It seems that the hero brought his sweetheart one rose. Yeah. He is saying it with flowers, but he stutters. Well, anyhow, when the sweetheart sees one rose, she sneers. She sneers right back at the hero. She sneered so hard she wrenched her eyebrows. No! The hero says, "I can't get a rise out of you anymore, but I love you each the same." He says, "What's the matter, dear? You don't seem your sweet self tonight." And she said, "Well, I can't sleep at night." Well, he said, "If you can't sleep when you get in bed tonight, why don't you count sheep?" Why didn't she? Wait,
She said, that's why I can't sleep. I live right next to the stockyard. Play that, dog. The second act shows the Baron working in a sausage factory. Right. The boss of the factory in it, and a snowstorm is raging. He says to the Baron, he says, you're not turning out much sausage today. And the Baron says, I wouldn't turn out a dog on a day like this. No! The hero returns home to his little grapefruit. That's what he calls his wife. He calls her grapefruit. Because every time he squeezes her, she hits him in the eye. You see? Anyhow, his wife was 1 woman in 100, Graham. Yeah? The trouble is that she found it out, you see? So on the Baron's return home, the wife said, Where have you been so long? And he said, well, I'll tell you. A Polish friend of mine died, and I went to the cemetery to see a pole vault. This, of course, this makes the wife so angry she starts to fizz. You know when you get angry how you fizz?
Sure.
And she said, where would you be if for pheasants for me? That was a good one, Graham. Yeah. That took me 7 hours to wake that one up. Anyhow, in her hand, the wife had the bottle of cod liver oil. And her hand is shaking terribly. And he said, you must learn to control your emotions. Some of these make me hysterical. All right. No! She says, I never want to see you again. I know you like someone else. I never thought the eternal triangle would enter our eyes. He said, what do you mean? And she said, don't you know what an eternal triangle is? And the Baron says, yes. That's what Mahatma Gandhi wears. Wait a minute. Wait. I have to left it. Wait a minute. Come on. Well, wait now. Don't hurry me.
Tell me that story.
Listen to me. Now, wait a minute. So the wife said, you wouldn't talk like that unless you had been drinking. And he said, I don't drink as much as I used to. Lately, all I see are little garter snakes. Well, you see, she has him arrested. And the couple keeps fighting even in the court. And the judge, he goes, my goodness. He says, order in the court. He should. And the Baron says, I'll take a beer. The judge said it looked as if... you two have come to the parting of the ways. What are you going to do about it? What do you think he said? I don't know. The Baron says, well, if we are at the parting of the ways, let's open up a filling station. Play that.
the third act. Well, we'll save a little light bill anyhow. The third act, Graham. The third act finds the Baron in Switzerland. Here is really a most interesting act. He is lost on the mountains in Switzerland in a snowstorm, Graham. One of the famous St. Bernard dogs. You've seen pictures of them, you know. Well, this dog finds him, and the dog has a small barrel of whiskey tied on his neck. You've seen those pictures. That was nice. Well, the Baron sees him, and he sends the dog back for some ginger ale and ice. Well, anyhow, his experience in the mountains had softened the Baron, and he now has a Switzerland look. Well, he sees the house, and he asks for something to eat. The housekeeper says, here is some lovely Swiss mountain cheese. Out yourself, she says. I said out. I didn't say help. Oh, I thought you corrected it. No! He returns home. He said to an old friend, when I left, my wife and I, we were at loggerheads. And the friend said, well, I think she still lives there. So the Baron rushes down to Loggerheads, New Jersey. His wife meets him and says, at last, you've come home. The baby has been walking for 5 months. The Baron said, walking for 5 months? My goodness. Where was he walking from? That night, the baby yells out 3 times. The father says, once more, and it'll be 4 balls, and I'll walk. Wait, that's just a play on words. So the wife said, well, if you pick on that child, I'll tweak your nose. The Baron says, oh, you're up to your old tweaks again, are you? And the wife says, you brute. And the Baron said, that child looks like a little street gamin to me. The wife said, how dare you call him a gamin? Take back that gamin. And the baby says, oh, Mom and Papa are playing backgammon. The wife said, don't you like the baby's almond eye? And the father said, yes, I think they're the nuts. No! Years passed, and the Baron is now very wealthy. He made his money manufacturing raspberry preserves. He buys a shooting lodge in Scotland with a lot of money, you know. One night they are playing bridge, and the Baron, Graham, the Baron dies at the bridge table. And they bury him with simple honor. Well, when they read the Baron's will, what do you think the will says? What does it say, Chief? The will says, I have raspberry preserves in America and shooting preserves in Scotland. To my son I leave the shooting preserves, and to my wife I give the raspberry. Play that. At this time of year, all nature prepares for the colder weather to come. Oh, you don't have to tell me that, Graham. No? Even the chicken up my farm's preparing for the cold weather. How? Well, I don't know. Yesterday, I found one of my chickens laying in a supply of coal. Oh, I see. Yes, sir. Well, now, that's not it, though, Chief. What? This is what I'm getting at. What's that? From now on, summer-worn oil in crankcase is dangerous. Yes. The colder days require a different grade of motor oil. Yes. The summer grade should be drained off and the crankcase refilled with the correct grade of crack-proof technical. Yes. The golden oil that flows at 0. Still again. It keeps the motor from running down. Yes. It's the same as a human being, Chief. What's the first thing you would do if you were run down? Oh, if I was run down, Graham, the first thing I'd do would be try to get the car's license number. No, I don't mean that, Chief, at all. Well, that's what you asked me, Graham. No, I mean that any machine must be prepared for colder weather. Oh. Fire Chief gasoline is good in all kinds of weather. Yes. But the oil should be changed in cold weather from the mighty high-powered automobile to the lowly washing machine. Now, I'm going to stop you, Graham. I'm glad you said washing machine. Well, go ahead. What is it? Let's have Don play the famous washwoman song. What is it? I'm ashamed of this. Go ahead, tell him. The washwoman song. The title of it is The Slip in the Dip.
rolla, pop and rolla, that means everybody dance. Come on and kick up your heels, how good it feels. Pop and rolla, you can learn it at a glance. Let's go, digging high, digging low, house and care and woe advance. Come everybody strike up from fancy Fairyland. Pop and rolla, that means everybody dance.
Well, now, Chief, we've got a lot of letters here, so we just might as well get to them, get some answers.
All right.
Here's one from Covington, Kentucky.
Yes?
Dear Chief, last night my wife became the mother of a 7-pound baby girl. I paced up and down the hospital corridors for hours. Do you think there's anything worse than the suspense I went through last night? Signed, Proud Papa.
Oh, isn't that Dear Proud Papa, I agree with you in a way. You sure must have suffered. But you should be glad the baby is a girl and not a boy. So she will never suffer like you did last night.
Chief, I want you to listen to this.
I'd love to hear it, man.
Will you come over and listen?
Yes, sir.
Here's the one from Hatboro, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yes.
Dear Chief, we have just moved into a new apartment. It has a breakfast nook in the kitchen, but every time I try to get into it, I upset the table. Can you tell me the best way to get into a breakfast nook? Signed, Commuter.
Dear commuter, the best way to get into a breakfast nook is to first walk past it. Then back into it, the same as parking a car.
Here's one from Camden, New Jersey. Dear Chief, all the papers say the slump is over. Do you think the depression is arrested? Signed, Hoping.
Dear Hoping, yes, the depression is arrested. It was arrested in 1929, and it's done 3 years already.
Oh, right. Oh, here, look at this. Here's one from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pittsburgh. I'm playing my show there next week, Graham.
We'll all be with you.
I know you're coming up there.
Dear Chief, I hurt one of my floating ribs last week.
Oh.
I have an accident policy, but the insurance company won't pay me any money.
I see.
What do you make out of that? Signed, Compensation.
Dear compensation, you had the wrong kind of insurance. You say you had accident and said... How do you say that, Graham?
The other way.
There's 2 C's here instead of an L. It says, according to your letter here, compensation, it says that you had accident insurance. That your trouble is floating insurance. That is to say, you've had a floating rib. You should have marine insurance. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, here's one from San Diego, California.
San Diego! Mm-hmm. That's where the International Fire Chiefs are holding the convention tonight. I should be there.
Dear Chief,
yes.
Our 3-year-old baby swallowed a penny and 2 dimes. My husband is out of work, and he says he can't afford a doctor. And he keeps feeding the baby yeast. What do you make out of that? Signed, Worried Mother.
Dear worried mother, as the baby swallows 3 coins, and as your husband is out of work, he gave the baby yeast to try and raise some money.
Texas Company presents over a coast-to-coast network Ed Wynn, the Fire Chief, supported by a cast of more than 50 artists, including Don Voorhees, the Fire Chief Quartet, and Graham McNamee. Louis A. Whitten, speaking for the Texas Company, extends its invitation for next Tuesday at the same hour. Again, speaking for the Texas Company, I wish to take this opportunity to remind all car owners that now is the time to change to winter-grade motor oil. When your serviceman asks permission to drain off summer-worn oil, say yes. Then he can perform a real service, provide you with the correct grade of motor oil that will properly protect your car during the colder weather to come. Whenever you hear the siren and bell, think of Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. This is the National Broadcasting Company. WEAF, New York. From the stage of the Nixon Theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Texaco service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Ed Wynn, the Fire Chief.
The program will be different tonight, Graham.
Well, Chief, what's the good word?
What's that?
What's the good word?
Money, Graham. Money is the good word, Graham.
I caught you at last, Chief.
You did?
Yeah, I heard you bought a second-hand car. I knew I'd get you to ride in an automobile.
Oh, I admit I bought a second-hand car, Graham.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it to ride in. No, I use it for a vibrator, Graham. I'll always stick to horses, Graham, always.
Why, Chief, horses are a thing of the past.
Yeah?
If you look all over the land, where would you find an old cab horse?
Oh, the old cab horses, Graham?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't go to the races, do you, Graham?
No, I don't, Chief. No. Are you still at it?
Oh, yes, Graham. Only yesterday I bet my skate on a horse.
You bet your shirt on him. I hope he ran fast.
Oh, I'll say he ran, Graham. I left the pins in the shape, you know.
Well, Chief, did your uncle go down to the track with you?
Oh, no, Graham. My uncle couldn't stand the excitement.
No?
The doctor ordered a complete rest for my uncle. The doctor said that he must not be disturbed.
I'm sorry to hear that, Chief. Where is he, at home?
No, I just told you he must be very quiet, Graham.
Well?
The doctor insisted he must not be disturbed. So I set him up in business. You say?
Chief,
Yes?
tell him to be optimistic. Someday his ship will come in.
Well, that's a strange thing, Graham. He's only been in business a week, and his ship has already come in.
Yes, his ship is in already.
Oh, yes, Graham, his ship is in. It's a receiver ship.
Chief, you know, I thought something was wrong with your uncle. The last time I saw him, he was leading a cow down Broadway.
Oh, yes. Yes, he was leading the cow down Broadway, Graham. You know why?
No, why? Show me.
Excuse me for being hysterical. It strikes me so funny.
What is it, Chief?
He was taking the cow down Broadway. He was going to the theater to see Green Pastures.
Chief, that stops me.
Yeah.
What's the music?
Well, Graham, talking about the music, we were also talking about horses and cows.
Yeah?
So we'll play the new Milkman's Horse song. The name of it is Gee, How I Hate to Get Up in the Morning.
Eggs you brought me from the farm tonight. Are they very fresh?
Oh, I'll say the eggs are fresh, Graham. Good. The chicken doesn't even know I've got them yet.
The dog you brought in tonight, is that from the farm, too, Chief?
Oh, yes, Graham. That's a Great Dane.
A Great Dane, Chief. He looks more like a dachshund to me.
Well, he feels awfully low tonight, Graham. That's why.
You know, Chief, I have a dog so small you can put him in your pocket.
No.
And it's worth $3,000.
Wait, $3,000?
Yep.
My goodness. How could a little dog like that save up so much money?
I've got to get up to your farm someday, Chief, and look at all your pets.
Oh, you'll love them, Graham. I've got one cow that I expect to bring me a lot of money.
That's so, Chief?
Yes. Oh, indeed, yes. He's engaged to Bull Montana.
Chief, are you making any money on your farm?
Oh, I tell you, I'm going to make money. I'm going in the dairy business, Graham.
Good.
The fellow on the next farm to me made a fortune out of cheese, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll tell you about him. He's a mouth-to-mouth canvasser, you know. He sells cheese to rats, you know. That's what he does.
That's enough for me,
Yeah.
Chief. What's the music?
Well, speaking of mouth-to-mouth canvas, and now that Mickey Mouse is running for president, Graham,
Yeah.
we'll play Mickey Mouse's campaign song. The name of it is 3 C's for the red, white, and blue.
Every loyal fun. Till the victory won. The golden blues shall wave forever on high. The fair and stormy weather will sing the praise of far and wide until the end of time. Hip hooray for dear old you and I. We'll give her a grand old Allegheny, enact. We'll wave and cheer for many a year and sing her songs loud and clear for our university.
Well, there's no use talking to you, Chief, but a car owner knows how important it is to say yes when your serviceman asks permission to drain off summer-worn oil. The maker of your car has stressed the need for changing to the correct grade of motor oil for fall and winter driving.
I see.
It's in your instruction book. Yeah. A crankcase full of the correct grade of technical crack-proof motor oil means your car will be properly protected during cold weather.
Oh, you're talking of putting things in automobiles, Graham.
Yep.
My uncle put so many people in his car last Sunday that a woman stopped him. What do you think she said?
What? What'd she say, Chief?
She said if that car was a horse, I'd report you to the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Well, Chief, there is such a thing as cruelty to automobiles. For instance, leaving dirty, thinned-out, summer-worn oil in the crankcase. That's really dangerous. Such an oil no longer has the body to ensure real protection to the engine.
I see.
It belongs anywhere but in the crankcase. That's why every car owner should say yes.
Oh, you can talk all you want, Graham. You'll never get my uncle. I don't think he'll buy any motor oil for quite a while.
Why not, Chief? I saw your uncle's car. She's a little beauty.
Oh, well, she was a beauty.
What?
She was a beauty, Graham.
Yeah?
But he stripped her gears. You ought to see her now. She's a toothless old hack.
rotten home.
Oh, that's fine.
You must have read the book when you were younger,
Yes,
Graham.
indeed.
Well, I'll explain it to you. When Dorothy was born, her ears were so big, Graham, that her parents had to wait 10 years to find out if she would walk or fly. It seems that Dorothy had many sweethearts in her time. Oh, lots of old sweethearts. But now she is giving them up for her new love, a young boy.
Oh, lovely.
And as the curtain rises on the opera, Graham, we find her trying to figure out what to do with her old blade. No! She starts to dress to meet her new love. She calls her Chinese butler in the room. The Chinese butler's name is Wang. W-O-N-G, Wang. She says, how do I look? And that's where Wang sings that beautiful song. He sings, I may be Wang, but I think you're wonderful. What do you think of that way, Graham?
That's marvelous.
Well, wait, you haven't paid us to sing yet.
Go ahead, Steve.
She says, Wang, I am in love again. And I look to the stars to tell my fortune. Now, I know all about Venus and Mars, but do you know anything about the great star Nebula? And what do you think Wang says?
What do you say?
Wang says, all I know is a nebula day keeps the doctor away. Wait a minute. When you...
I'll wait, I like it.
So Dorothy says, well, I am having company tonight. Do you know any good parlor games? And the butler says, why not? The butler says, why not get a set of lemons and some seltzer and play a game of gin? And then the butler says, and as you're playing the game, I'll turn on the phonograph and we'll have them play that new drinking song. The name of it is Noses Are Blooming in Zachardy. So, at this moment, Graham, the hero enters.
Yes.
The hero was so bow-legged, Graham, that when he walks into the room, he rubs the paper off the wall. And he's smoking a Mason and Dixon cigar.
What's that?
Don't you know what a Mason and Dixon cigar is? Well, when you smoke one in the north, you can smell it in the south. Anyhow, the hero kisses Dorothy. And as he kisses her, she says, what is wrong with you, dear? Don't you love me? You always keep your eyes open when you kiss me. And the hero says, that's because I like to look before I live. Play that, The hero is worried. He is beside himself. And they both look terrible. He has just heard that Dorothy has another sweetheart, an Englishman who comes from a very fine family, Graham. His father is in the House of Lords, his brother is in the House of Commons, and once he was in the buckhouse, you see? The Englishman is so narrow-minded, Graham, that he used a monocle for a pair of spectacles. His feet are very, very large, you know. In fact, his feet are so big that when he leaves home at 2:30, his feet don't get out of the house till 2:45. And besides that, he is a stock salesman, Graham.
Yeah?
And he knows all of our bus people. So, Dorothy invites her two sweethearts to dinner. At dinner, the Englishman says, I have an uncle who is an antiquarian. The American says, an antiquarian? In America, that's what we keep fish in. So to stop our two lovers from fighting, she said to the Englishman, do you like potatoes? And he said, I lionize them. And Dorothy, anxious to please the new lover, she saves them lionized potatoes. But now, wait a minute. She then saves the chicken. The Englishman gets the white meat, and the American says to Dorothy and says, that's not fair. He's getting all the breast of it. No! Dorothy said to the Englishman, why were you so late? And the Englishman said, well, it's an old family custom. My father was in his bath, and I was washing his back. And the American says, still sponging off the old man. Wait a minute. Go ahead. Wait a minute. Go ahead. The Englishman jumps up and says, I've been insulted. I'm going to get in my town car and go home. And the American says, have you a town car? And the Englishman said, I have 3 town cars. American says, yes, I know them. Uptown, downtown, and crosstown. Now, we have to leave out the music because it's very interesting.
For the third act, Chief.
The third act finds Dorothy married to the American boy.
Good.
They engage a Turkish butler. They want to be richy, you know.
Sure.
The Turk is very fat. His name is Mustafa Bey. And his last name is Window. Mustafa Bey Window, you see? You can tell he is Turkish because he's always slamming doors. I thought that was right. Excellent. Well, anyhow, Dorothy cannot stand him as he is always eating Turkish candy. She says, you are discharged, Mustafa. You are always eating candy in the presence of my company. And the Turk says, very well. Now, listen, Graham. All right, if you discharge me for eating candy, I will leave immediately. Give me Mahatma Gandhi and gloves. Wait a minute. No! At that moment, the husband comes in. He has a little monkey in his arms. He says, Dorothy, I have brought you a little pet, a little female monkey. She says, oh, a monkey wench. Well, she says to her husband, she says, you look worried, dear. And he says, I am worried. I lost a quart bottle of liquor on the train. And she says, was it turned into the lost and found department? And he says, no, but the fellow that found it was. Well, anyhow, it seems that the couple are blessed with a little baby.
That's nice.
3 days after the baby is born, the mother says, I gave the baby some chicken by mistake, and it disagreed with him. And the father says, croquette? And the mother says, no, but he's awful sick. Well, they rushed into the baby's room only to find that the child has a temperature of 108. What do you think they do?
What do they do to him, Chief?
They put the baby in the cellar to heat the house. No! They sent for their family physician. His name is Dr. Fuller. The next day the wife says, dear, Dr. Fuller was here, and the baby kept staring at the doctor. And Dr. Fuller thinks the baby is gaining weight. And the husband says, well, that's because the baby looks fuller in the face. Anyhow, that night the baby cried. And the mother said, dear, sing the baby to sleep with a horseshoe song. And the husband does. He sings the horseshoe song. You know the name of it, Graham?
No.
The name of it is Horseshoe Bye Baby on the Treetop. Play that, Don. Yesterday, and one of them said, when you hear this is so ridiculous to me. One of them said, throw the pigskin.
What do you do?
Well, the farmer who did nothing by halves, you know, he threw the whole pig at him. What do you think of that?
Well, football is very popular, Chief.
That's why I mentioned
Every Saturday, thousands upon thousands of people drive to football games.
Yes, they do.
And do you know what most of them do before they start the game, Chief?
I should say I do, Graham.
What is it?
They fill up their flask with that new chicken whiskey, you know. One drink and there you lay. I know it, Graham.
Well, I don't know about that, Chief,
No.
but I do know that thousands of them start off by filling up with Texaco Fire Chief. Gasoline. The quick-starting gasoline that was developed for fire engines. Now available to all motorists at no extra price.
I know you're kidding.
They like to feel that surging fire engine power, Keith. That flashing speed. Just as much as they enjoy power and speed on the gridiron.
Oh, and speaking of gridirons, I even saw some girls playing football, Graham.
You did? That should have been interesting, Keith.
Oh, it was, Graham. The girls looked awfully cute in their padded step-ins, Graham.
And those same motorists, Keith, are always stopping at Texaco stations for crack-proof Texaco motor oil.
That's
the
right.
ideal driving mate for Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. Both are available in all our 48 states.
I see. They are, eh?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to the game, Graham, but I'm going on my horse.
Oh, horse. No horse for me, Chief.
Why?
I saw you on your horse the other day, and boy, was he bucking.
That shows what you know about horses, Graham.
Yeah?
He wasn't bucking. You don't call that bucking.
What is he
Graham.
doing?
When you saw him, he was only coughing.
New Mexico. Yep. Dear Chief, I'm keeping company with a young man named Apple, Fred Apple. He said he does not like my long hair and says he'll marry me tomorrow if I bob my hair. What shall I do? Signed, Crowning Glory.
Dear Crowning Glory, as your friend's name is Apple, and he wants you to bob your hair, do not do it tomorrow. You wait till Halloween. That is the best time to bob for Apple.
Chief, here's one from Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit? I'm playing my show there next week, Graham.
Yep, I know it. We'll all be with you.
All right.
Dear Chief, you think there is a noticeable difference between a modern young girl and an old maid? If so, what is the difference? Signed in between.
Dear in between. The difference is simple.
Go ahead, Chief, here's one. Oh, here's a good one. Here's one from Paoli, Pennsylvania.
Paoli?
Yeah. Dear Chief, I'm a boy 9 years old. The spelling teacher gave me a new word. Hoax. H-O-A-X. How shall I use this word in a sentence? Signed, a regular fella.
Dear regular fella, I'm surprised that you never heard the famous expression with the word hoax in it. Here it is. From little acorns grow mighty hopes. Well, eat that, boy.
Here's one from Cedar Grove, New Jersey.
Cedar Grove?
Mm-hmm. Dear Chief, I am troubled with insomnia. I have tried a day bed, twin bed, a double bed, and a folding bed, and cannot sleep. Could you suggest any kind of a bed in which I could get some sleep? Signed, Up Too Long.
Up too long? It sounds like a charge, Graham. Dear Up Too Long. It seems to me you've tried all makes of beds except one. You get in a revolving bed, you'll sleep like a top.
Oh, yes. Chief, here's one from Chester, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Dear Chief, philosophers say when a man is successful, he is immediately surrounded by parasites. As this is a word I do not understand, will you please give me the best definition of a parasite? Signed, Knowledge Seeker.
Oh, he's picked out a great one, Graham.
Yep.
Dear Knowledge Seeker, I'll explain to you exactly what a parasite is, you see. A parasite is a man who goes through a revolving door on your push. Way out west.
West? Yep, way out west in Billings, Montana.
Billings?
Yeah. Dear Chief, as you probably know more about horses than any man in America, maybe you can help me with this problem.
What is it?
My horse won't run. I was told to put a carrot in front of his face and he would run. What do you think of that? Signed, Barney Google.
Oh, someone's kidding. Dear Barney Google, you should know better than to put a carrot in front of his face. You must remember the old Irish saying, never put the carrot before the horse.
She wears a pillow, a garden harbor, and pampered tobacco has her in a whir. She's got a sweetheart that every calling. She's a friend of American.
Texas Company presents over a coast-to-coast network Ed Wynn, the fire chief, supported by a cast of more than 50 artists, including Don Voorhees, the Fire Chief Quartet, and Graham McNamee. Louis A. Whitten, speaking for the Texas Company, extends its invitation for next Tuesday at the same hour. Again speaking for the Texas Company, may I remind all car owners that now is the time to have summer-worn oil drained off and the crankcase refilled with the correct grade of motor oil for cold weather driving. When your serviceman asks permission to do this, say yes. Don't wait until the gritty, thinned-out summer oil has actually caused damage to your engine. Whenever you hear the siren and bell, think of Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. The Texaco Fire Chief program came to you from Pittsburgh over the facilities of the National Broadcasting Company. From the stage of the Cass Theater in Detroit, Texaco service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Ed Wynn, the perfect fool.
I'm the chief tonight, Graham.
Good.
The present's going to be different.
Steve, I'm glad to see you. You know that tonight you look 20 years younger.
Well, I should look 20 years younger tonight, Graham.
Yeah?
Yes, this afternoon I looked over my books and I found out that I'm back where I was 20 years ago.
Steve, you're having a lot of honors bestowed on you lately, aren't you?
Oh, yes, Graham. I even went to a political convention the other night. And they let me throw out the fake bull.
What kind of a speech you make, Chief?
Oh, I told him, Graham. You know me when I make a speech.
Yep.
I told him I was in Washington a week before last. And I told him...
What'd you tell him?
I told him that I saw a pocket flask in the seat of the government. That's what I told him.
Well, what about it, Chief?
Oh, I told him in my speech, I said, people who carry it in glass bottles should not sit on stones. That's what I told him.
Good. Well, what happened then, Chief?
Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Some heckler in the audience called me a herring.
What'd you do about that, Chief?
Well, what would you do? I answered him right back.
Right.
I said, what do you mean by calling me a herring? Am I my brother's kipper?
You bet. Yes, it was.
Yeah. And at the finish of my speech, Graham, I really said one brilliant thing.
What'd you say, Chief?
Oh, I said, am I talking to the man in the street? I said, you know how those
Yes,
political
I know.
I said, yes, I am talking to the man in the street. The conditions today, I said, prove one thing.
What was that?
I said, what this country needs is a good 5-inch cigar butt. That's what I said.
Well, Chief, how are conditions around the country?
How's that, Graham?
How are conditions around the country?
For instance,
They're using midgets for waiters. Why? Well, that's so the portions of food look bigger, you know.
That's enough. You've got me, Chief. What's the music going to be?
Well, the trouble with this country is that the morale has been dismantled. You must admit that, Graham.
Absolutely.
So I think we ought to sing the new dismantle song.
The name of it?
The name of it is, I've Got to Love Dismantle or I Die.
Yesterday. Yeah. You were playing an oboe.
No, that was no oboe, Graham. That was my fight. That's a good play.
What was the trouble, Chief? I noticed they took you out of line during the drill.
Yes, Graham. I was in a sort of a drill pickle there. You know what I mean.
How did you and the rest of the company happen to split?
Oh, you shouldn't use the word split, Graham.
Why not?
Split is a horrid word. Especially when it happens to your trousers, Graham, you know.
Was that company of sailors that your uncle was leading? Who were they?
Oh, they were all Spanish War veterans, you know. Spanish-American War.
Was your uncle with Dewey when he took Manila?
Oh, of course he was, Graham. He was with Dewey when he took Manila. But my uncle took chocolate. He told me that lots of times.
Oh, Chief, say, what broke up the parade?
Oh. I saw a lot of fellas run out of line. Well, in the way, Graham, happened to my food.
Why? How?
When you hear this, I'll tell you why the parade broke up.
Yeah.
You see, I was walking along with him, and I happened to say we are now passing the finest speakeasy in town. And one of the fellas said, well, you may be, but we are not. And they broke out of line and they ran right in there.
I saw them go in, Chief, but once they turned around and run out of the speakeasy so quickly.
Well, Graham, that was the funniest thing that I think ever happened. I'll tell you why they ran out of the speakeasy. My uncle, when they got in there, he ordered some lamb chops with roasted cheese dressing, you know.
Yeah.
And the waiter hollered out. You know how waiters hollered out?
Sure.
Well, of course, when the fellas heard the waiter hollering it out, they ran. They misunderstood him.
How was that?
Well, the waiter yelled out. He said, cheese at the chops.
That's Go on. Tell us what the music is.
Well, we're talking about speakeasy. Let's have the new speakeasy song.
What is it?
The name of it is Ale, the Gang's All Here.
Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best, hail to the victors. leaders and best. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West.
The radio symbol of technical fire chief.
Yes, I know, Graham. And when you hear that musical note again, it will be the right time.
Well,
for me to leave.
No, Chief. It'll be the right time to change oil.
Yeah?
Now is the time to drain off that dangerous summer-worn oil and refill with the correct grade of technical crack-proof motor oil. Then you'll be sure that your car is protected against the colder days to come.
Oh, I see. You know, you're right in a way, Graham.
I'm right.
Everybody must watch these. He once knew a Russian, Graham, with a long beard. He went to bed, Graham, and right by an open window, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It started to rain, and his beard got wet. And then it turned bitter cold, and his beard froze on him, Graham.
Yeah?
Now, here's the terrible part about it.
What happened?
He tried to turn over in bed, and he broke his neck.
Oh, never mind that, Chief. Never mind that. If your uncle hasn't changed his oil yet, remind him to do it tomorrow.
I will.
When your serviceman asks, may I drain off that summer-worn oil? Say yes. With the correct grade of crack-proof technical motor oil, your car's off of technical flows with the first turn of the start.
But, Graham, my uncle never had trouble with his car in the winter.
How's that, Chief?
Well, I'll tell you, every year at this time, Graham,
Yeah?
my uncle misses a couple of payments on his car, and the finance company puts it in storage for him. All right, we'll have an opera. Tonight's opera, Graham, is The Poor House Behind the Hill. That's the name of it. That's a great opera. Oh, it's a very sad opera, Graham. For instance, the heroine never had any luck. She is a stenographer, you know.
Yeah.
And all her bosses were so bow-legged, she keeps falling through their laps. Now, she has no front teeth, Graham. She has found life just a bowl of cherries. And she's broken her teeth on the pit. Well, she is a country girl. Now, listen, Graham.
I will.
She's a country girl, and she came from that part of the country where the wide-open spaces are men's heads. Well, she's a very poor girl, Graham.
Yeah.
In fact, when her father died, all he left her was a bottle of gin. It was a sort of a boot legacy, you know. No! And she has no
funny. When she arrived in New York, Graham, she engaged a nudist apartment. Even the walls are bare. Oh, my God. Well, she loves to play the slide trombone. That's her... But her room is so small, Graham, she has to keep a door open to play it. And her first day in New York, she travels around the city. She's absolutely crazy about the town, you know. She's extremely fat, too. But that night, she goes to bed tired but hippie. Well, she started getting fat, it seems, just 1 year before. And as the opera opens, Graham, she is celebrating the 1st anniversary of her birth. That was nice. So, in the next room is a very poor young man. He is a singer, Graham. He sings beautifully in the bathtub. But you can tell by his neck that he's out of practice. Well, you know, go ahead. The boy is fascinated by the girl's trombone playing. So he calls her on the telephone. He says, I love your playing. Will you play the Gigolo song for me? And she said, what's the name of it? And he said, the title of the Gigolo song is The Spirit of 76. Oh! She says, I don't know that, but I'll play the song about the plasters that you use for the backaches and lumbago. What is it? Well, that's where the play really gets the big song from which the opera gets its title, you know. That's where she plays the famous plaster song, Graham. Over the hills to the poorest. Play that. He said, you paid me sing and I paid you play. Said, I love you. I'll go through fire for you. And she says, well, you should. You're not so hot. Well, the boy tries to kiss her. She pushes it, she pushes it right away. Things look black for the boy. But suddenly the lights go out and things look bright again. There's one. The boy says, though we are very poor, we can still be happy. So he orders a stein of beer, and they make a loving cup of it. It is love at first sight. Well, she says, what do you do for a living? And he says, well, my father is an inventor. He invented a famous shoe lamp. I wonder if you've heard of it. And the girl says, well, I've heard the shoe lamp's expression. And he says, what are you talking about, the shoe lamp's expression? And she says, well, this is what I mean. The expression. Shoe lamp, laugh, best. And she says, well, my father, too, was an inventor. What do you think he invented, Graham? You better sit down. You'll fall over laughing at this one. Turn your over now. Go ahead. She says, my father was an inventor. He invented a waterproof coat to put on the post stake. I'm only starting this. Now, wait a minute. So the boy says, speaking of food, you're quite plump. You should watch your calories. And she says, I sit in them, twice in them, twice in them. And he says, what do you mean you sit in the calories twice a week? And she says, well, I go to the theater twice a week and I sit in the calories. And he says, that reminds me. will you play the trombone, and as I sing the song, we ought to sing the new cavalry song. The name of it is Cavalry Me Back Too Old to Sit Here. And she said, well, I don't like that song. But as we've been drinking beer tonight, it reminds me of the new home brew song. Well, you understand. He said, what's the name of the home brew song? And she said, you ferment for me. Hey. Boy, so the boy, she said, well, I don't like that song. No, they compromise. And what do you think happens, Graham? I don't know. She plays and he sings a beautiful spiritual. The famous Hosanna song. You know the name of it? What is it? The name of it is Hosanna Body Here's Dean Kelly. Play that. She asked her husband if he can tell the difference between Chopin's music and Handel's music. Yes. And he says yes. Yes. So she plays a few bars, you know. Mm-hmm. She says, now, are those bars Chopin? And he says, no, those are Handel bars. This is too much for her. She says, oh, that settles music. Let's go to the movies. There's a picture down there called The Essence of Gin. The husband said, what are you talking about? That's not the essence of gin. You mean the breath of a nation. No! The next day, listen to this, Graham. The next day, the husband is looking for work, and he decides to get a job in a bank. What do you think he does? What? He starts to look for a bank that can give good recommendations. So he meets the president of the bank. The president says, you want a job, do you? On what basis would you wait? And the husband says, well, when I was in school, I used to play the first and second bases. The president says, do you drink? And the husband says, yes, but first let's talk about the job. The husband returns home only to find, now listen, Graham, he finds on his arrival home that the stork has brought he and his wife Wynn. Beautiful. The wife says, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll call the twins Spears and Roper. Because they are of the mail order. Gone with that opera. The husband says they look so much alike. Let's call each of them Willie. We'll call both of them Willie. Yeah. Now, the twins cried for 3 days, and the father can't sleep, Graham. What did he do? The wife said both of the Willies have the grip. The wife says both Willies have the grip. And the husband says, oh, well, if they have the grip, I'll get them a couple of railroad tickets and you can send them wherever they want to go. The next day, to get away from the two little Willies, the husband goes to the zoo. The keeper asks him if he'd like to see a new stork that just arrived at the zoo. And the husband says, for heaven's sake, no. He says, I hate storks. They're what gave me the Willies.
time of year when you get the biggest kick out of a car.
Oh, I know that, Graham. But it's the rule. Men don't get kicked out of cars, you know.
No, Chief, I don't mean that. I mean the thrill of the open road on these brisk autumn days. With Texaco Fire Chief gasoline in the tank, you get real action. What power, what speed. By the Fire Chief's gas, you just can't help going places.
Oh, well, I believe in that, Graham.
Right.
It was so beautiful yesterday, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped in a taxi cab, and I told the driver to drive any place. And when I got in the cab, I fell right asleep.
I'll bet you had an awful taxi bill.
Oh, no, Graham. I knew before I got in the cab I was going to take a nap, you know.
Yeah.
So I left the call for $1.50.
Chief, look here. Chief, I want you to be serious just for a moment.
Yeah, I will.
The point I'm trying to bring out is the Texaco Fire Chief gasoline was first developed for fire engines. It's more powerful than ordinary gasoline, gives greater mileage, and as far anti-knock quality, it has an octane rating that's outstanding, Chief. Really. And last but not least, by any means, it's the quickest starting gasoline for cold weather. That's Texaco Fire Chief. Sold in all our 48 states at no extra price. Wherever you see the Texaco Red Star with the green tea.
Green tea, is that with 3 more lemons?
Oh, now, Chief, you don't understand a thing in the world but horses.
Oh, I admit that, Graham. I love horses.
Horses.
I think we'll have Don play the new song about horses. You'll never get the title.
Well, what is it?
The title?
What is it?
Here's the name of it. Who's that knocking at my door?
Presents over a coast-to-coast network, Ed Wynn, the Fire Chief, supported by a cast of more than 50 artists, including Don Voorhees, the Fire Chief Quartet, and Graham McNamee. Louis A. Wynn, speaking for the Texas Company, extends its invitation for next Tuesday at the same hour. Again, speaking for the Texas Company, may I remind you that if you haven't yet changed to winter-grade oil, now is the time to do it. Remember, summer-worn oil is not only the wrong grade for this time of the year, but it is probably thinned out, diluted, full of gritty road dust which can cause real damage to any engine. When your serviceman asks permission to drain it off, say yes. And whenever you hear the siren and bell, think of Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. The Texaco Fire Chief program came to you from the stage of the Taft Theater in Detroit over the facilities of the National Broadcasting Company.
WEAS, New York.
From the stage of the Hannah Theater in Cleveland, Texaco service stations and dealers from coast to coast present the Fire Chief Quartet. Don Voorhees and the Fire Chief Band. Graham McNamee. And Edwin the Fire Chief. Thank you. Well, tonight, Graham. Yeah? Tonight, the program's going to be different as usual. Chief, they've been saying for a long time that prosperity was just around the corner. Yeah. But Roosevelt claims that prosperity is here. I guess it is here, Graham. Yeah. Show you my tough luck, now I'm around the corner. Some people say things would be better if we recognize Russia. Well, the things, my goodness, Graham, the way things are right now, I can't even recognize America. Well, don't you think prohibition has been a success, Chief? Well, I'll tell you, Graham, I listened to my uncle on that subject, you know. Yeah? Yes, my uncle. Doesn't your uncle think prohibition's a success? Oh, yes. When he's drunk, he thinks it's a success, Graham. But when he's sober, he don't. Well, what's he got to say about it, Chief? Well, he claims the most unusual thing, Graham. Yeah? My uncle claims that the states on the east and the west coast are so wet, you know, that they don't even know where the ocean stops. Please, have you anything against prohibition? Well, I only have one thing against prohibition, Graham. What is it? Well, nowadays, if two people want to take a drink that cements their friendship, they have to order, you know, a couple of glasses of concrete. That's what I don't like about it. Well, please take a man like your uncle. Wouldn't he be satisfied with 3% beer? Oh, I should say he would be, Graham. If the other 97% was alcohol. Well, anyway. Well, anyway, no matter what, that cures me. I'm through. What's the music going to be? Well, I'll tell you, Graham. We're speaking of liquor, so we'll play the new drinking song. What is it? The title of it is My Brew Heaven.
As a matter of fact, he was so thin before he died. We had to shoot him lengthwise. Well, you still have your cow, haven't you, Chief? Oh, yes, Sam, I still have that cow of mine. Well, I'm mighty glad of that, Chief. I'll never forget that wonderful glass of fresh milk you gave me the day I visited you. Oh, yes, I sure pulled a good one that day, Sam. Chief, you look awfully funny coming downtown on your horse tonight. Why were you riding in side saddle? Well, can I help riding in side saddle, Graham? Well, I help it if the horse is assisting. Is he a racehorse, too? Well, yes, but that doesn't amount to much. I think we ought to go into the music, Graham. Well, all right, then. Let's go. Well, I'll tell you what it is. We're talking about bombs, so we'll play the new pig grunting song. Yeah, Graham. Yeah. You'll never get the title. Well, I want to know. What is it? The big song is just like a melody from out of the sky. And every time my uncle hears the siren blow, he gets frightened and he hides. He's afraid the fireman's bringing his wife back, you know. The title of it is When Ignorance is Blisters. And when the tape rises on the opera, Graham, right away you see the hero. Good. He is a country boy and wears celluloid colors. And he flares up at anything. Now, his father raises cotton in the South, you know. The young hero, as the tape rises, rushes into the house and he says, Father, what shall I do? I have just found 2 poor weevils in the cotton. What's the father say? The father says, my son, of 2 weevils, always choose the lesser. The son says another thing, Father. I noticed on the plantation was that one of the gum trees was teething. The father says, you are very observing, son, and for being so conscientious, I am going to make you a present of a new South hat. And the boy said, that's what I like about you, Dad. You always make your present son. Wait a minute. Go ahead, Steve. Wait a minute. Go ahead. I'm only starting. The devil. Now, listen to this. The father said, very good, son. You keep working hard. And remember this. The devil finds work for idle hands. Good advice. The son says the devil finds work for idle hands. Then they ought to get him to run this country. Wait, you better sit down. You'll fall over with the next one. Wait, when you're gone, the father said, son, you look as if you've been crying. And the boy said, I'll tell you why, Father. I read a book last night with the saddest ending. And the father said, what book was it? And the son said, your back book. Wait a minute, wait. No! The father said, son, have you been drinking? And the son said, yes, Father. I drink liquor for medicinal purposes. The father said, are you sick? The son said, yes, I'm sick of prohibition. Wait a minute. The father said, you're going to be a politician someday, but you must not talk that way about our country. Do you realize in Russia that they are paying men with teeth instead of money? And the son said, paying them with teeth, why they do the same thing right in this country. He said, everybody I know has cops in their salary. Play that, want to know what is the matter with business? Well, I will tell you, he said. Everybody says that prosperity is just around the corner. That's what's wrong. Business is busy from turning around the corner so much. Then he goes on with the speech. He says, they say the silver lining is coming. I agree with him. He says the silver will be in your hair and the lines will be in your brow. So, he says, look at the new income tax. What happens? You send all your salaries to the government, and they advise you that it isn't enough. And yet, he says, and yet, the new taxes have been a great thing for some industries. The insane asylums are cleaning up, he says. Income taxes are not new, he says. They are 5,000 years old. Only recently, they are made the skeleton of a man holding his head in his hand. You got that, man? I thought that was good. It is good. He says, I am running for office, he says. My opponent calls me a fraud and a charlatan. That is just because I am a dancer, he says. That's because I once won a charlatan contest. Well, anyhow, he says, we have been through the fire of the prison. And he says, vote for me. I will take you through the fire, and you will come out seeing a robot. Now, when you hear the finish of it, he says, you will not only come out seeing a robot, but we'll come along all right. Wait, now, wait a minute. He says, I know I will be elected. I can hardly wait for the election tomorrow, except in a speakeasy. So, he leaves the auditorium and he goes to a speakeasy. The following morning, Graham, they find him on the floor. The porter enters to sweep the place, you know, and he sees the hero on the floor. The proprietor says, just sleep around him. He'll be here for a couple of days yet.
with the yes man on a state table. I just did it. See? Those yeses he earned with a smart answer to the question, may I drain off some unworn oil? Those car owners were changing the correct winter grade of flat-proof Texaco motor oil. Yeah. Well, Graham, my uncle used that oil in the car, you know. And now he says he can't use the motor anymore. Well, that's just it, Steve. Exactly. He's using the correct grade of oil. That's why he can't hear the motor. Well, maybe you're right, Graham, but I just think I ought to tell you. The doctor says my uncle is getting deaf. There's no use talking to you, Steve. There's no use talking to you. No, not. Who can talk to you? Well, that's nobody. But the way you talk all the time, your uncle's car belongs to the automobile graveyard. Have you ever seen one in automobile graveyard? Sure. That's one of those places where old cars break to pieces. Well, Steve, a lot of cars reach the junk pile long before their time because of one thing. What's that? Improper lubrication. By that I mean poor quality oil, not enough oil, and the wrong grade of oil. Summer grade oil was not meant for cold weather. Leaving it in the crankcase is just inviting trouble. My goodness, you know, Graham, with your gasoline and your oil and your oil and your gasoline, you're talking fueling. Well, No. Well, anyway, I'll tell you it's not fueling. It isn't fueling. It's very sad to think of how many cars are ruined just because of thoughtlessness. Motor oil is the cheapest item in the operation of a car. Insure your car with the filling of